3 in the morning, 3 a.m.
What's up guys, Pete here at Supreme Fabrications. Excuse my French just there, stick around and you'll understand why I was so fuming and what on earth I was doing in the shop at 3 a.m.
On today's video, we're going to be building a mega set of gates, really bespoke set of gates for a customer in London. We're based in Manchester and we're going to deliver the gates down to London. We've worked for this customer now for about 8 years. Brilliant, brilliant customer. He sends us the sizes, we send in the gates.
The standout feature and what makes these gates truly unique is the laser cut lettering spelling out the house name. The client has chosen the wording layout, so it's up to us to get them perfectly set out and welded in place.
Because of his location, the fabricators around him in London and further south in London are more expensive. So even with the delivery cost, buying his gates from us in Manchester saves him money. It's a really bespoke set of gates that we're going to build today. It's got the house name across both gates in the centre bar. That's lovely. That's me. I'm going to hand bend the arches. Now I know a lot of you will use a roller. I'm going to hand bend them on this video. Old school, I'm going to show you how we do it. You're going to love it. Stick around, let's jump in. Let's go, son.
Let's start framing the gate. I'm using 40mm square hollow section or 1.5" box for you old schoolers. I'd earlier marked the centre bars and got the apprentice to drill them the day before. I didn't want every hole drilling because some would clash with the lettering, so I marked exactly which holes to drill and which ones not to.
It's 3 in the morning, 3 a.m.
And he clearly got it wrong judging by my reaction.
Wow. Got no chance of that.
Looks like I finally cracked it and the build is back underway. I start by tacking the 16mm infill bars into place. I've copied the chalk lines into the bottom bar from the centre holes so they are perfectly straight. Now the fun part, the lettering. Double check the letters are definitely in the correct gate. We don't want it to read Hill House Priest. Tack the letters in, keep tack small and out of sight. We can add welds to the inside of the letters when we back weld the gate. I've used 20mm packers under the letters so they're going to sit slightly forward of centre, making them stand out that little bit more.
Good.
Continue the normal design of round bar and circles in the void part of the centre bar that the letters don't cover.
Right, so bending the arches out 40 by 12. Right, I'm going to tack these together. The reason being is both gates are going to be identical. I know people might have me for it. I'm going to tack each end. These are going to be the strongest tacks. So I need to make a jig bending. So I'm going to set my first one.
I normally bend my arches in a vise, but the lighting is crap, so I'm setting this up on the bench.
These are going to take an unbelievable amount of force, so they need to not break when you bend them. My gates 1650 wide. So cut these arches nearly 300 mil over. That's fine, you don't mind that. This on here is called mill scale. When the steel is formed, as it cools down, this is carbon and it comes to the surface. That's going to help us as a bit of an indicator of how much we're bending. To see if you can see the creases appearing. I know you probably won't get a tickle. Brilliant.
That sound is a scale cracking of the steel. It's a good indicator that you're applying enough pressure to the bend. The more uniform your spacing and pressure is here, the smoother the arch.
We're forming what you'd call a swan neck arch, swan neck, or an S. First run of bending, like I've done here, I've probably not got enough here, but you can always go more. I don't want to go past halfway, because then I'm going to start bending the other way. I'd say I'm moving down in 2 inch, maybe 2 to 3 inch increments. Maybe start at 3 and then add more. Perfect. Warming up at the start, clearly. I'm trying to look for any straight bits. You could chalk line this, put chalk lines every 2 inch and literally uniform marks all the way up. But I've done this enough times and I know what's going to look right. Can you see how the scale has started cracking? That's my indicator. That means I know I'm bending it right. You can see it flaking off. It's a powder coater's worst nightmare.
Split the arches with a grinder and clean the tacks off.
I'll always try and put a mark. Great. So if I put that at the top, I'll know I've got to put that at the top on the other gate. That's the one thing we want to avoid. So I've overbent this end, but on the other end, it's very good and I can get it a bit better. Right, so the key thing to concentrate on these gates is making sure that when each leaf joins together, that they're at worst straight. They don't want to dip down. That's what we call McDonald's arches. Da-da-da-da-da. Yeah, we want to avoid that. At the minute, I do have McDonald's arches. It's tight here, there's a gap here. It needs to be down here, that's fine. So I'm gonna take a bit more of that curve out. It's a little bit more. So flush with the back. You want this to start casting down immediately from here. So from here, it wants to start casting down. If anything, I might be being picky here, but I feel like that's slightly high. So as I tack this here, going to move this arch in slightly and tack it down. And when we put the infill bars in, it'll hold it where I want it to be held. Where I want it held. So, I need this to stay square this way. And again, I feel like it's running in slightly, so I'm gonna tack here, and it'll allow me to push it through, holding it flush. Square. So that tack that I've just done on the inside will allow me to move this, and then it's pushing this out. So I can really make sure now that I do not get McDonald's arches, because we are not cabbages. That's lovely. Really happy with that. Same on this end now. Don't want this to dip down before it curves up. That would be there. So where I am here, I'm really, really happy with that. I'm just gonna push that in actually slightly more, just to exaggerate the arch. Perfect. So get yourself a notepad and pen, like Connor's got here. 1060.
1050, 1035, 1015, 985, 955, 925. Do 930 on that, sorry. 900, 870, 840, 815, 800. Ready for welding, just gonna put bottom bars in there. Once the infill bars are welded in, we tack the circles in the arch and then the spikes.
So we'll put a second tack on them to stop them moving left and right. And then if they need to go up and down, they can, but mine won't, because I use my fat hands to gauge them. Come out perfect. Let's have a look.
Clean the welds off with a grinder. Give it a final clean with a flat disc. Last but not least, we tack and weld the shadow bar on.
Mic drop. Mate, that's an example of a job that had to do quick.
Once the gates are completed, they are sent off to be hot dip galvanized. This process involves immersing the steel in molten zinc, creating a durable protective coating that helps prevent rust and corrosion, significantly extending the lifespan of the gates. It's not a cheap process, but as we say to all of our customers, you only pay for it once. Galvanizing can often leave a rough finish, so we smooth the surfaces off, careful not to remove any of the coating. Finally, the gates are powder coated black.
Brucey, that weren't you, was it?
That wasn't me then, no. Now, when's that happened?
I don't know, mate. It was fresh, that. Where's this going to?
Surrey, Kent, London.
London, bruv.
London, bruv.
Did not see that.
More strapping.
Go on, mate. Pull. Mate.
Thanks for watching, guys. Join us in the next one.